All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories, all glories, all glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. हरे कृष्णा। अभी नरसिंह आरती होगी, सभी कोई अपने अपने स्थान पर बैठ जाए। नमस्ते नरसिंहाय। नमस्ते नरसिंहाय। दला प्रेम से बोली सर्व विघ्न विनाशक श्री लक्ष्मी नरसिंहदेव भगवान की, भक्त शिरोमणि श्री प्रहलाद महाराज की। हरे कृष्णा। There will be class on Bhagavad Gita here from 7:30 to 8:30 p.m. So those who want to listen it, please be kindly seated and don't make noise. अभी यहाँ पर अंग्रेजी में भगवत गीता पे प्रवचन होगा 7:30 से 8:30 बजे तक। सो जिन गरीब को भगवत गीता का ये प्रवचन सुनना है, कृपया अपने स्थान पर बैठे रहें, कृपया शोर ना करें।
हरे कृष्ण। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी, जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी, जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी, जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी, यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजना, यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजना, यमुना तीरा वनचारी, यमुना तीरा वनचारी, जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी, जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी, जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी, यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजना, यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजना, यमुना तीर वनचारी, यमुना तीर वनचारी, जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। जय राधा गोपीनाथ राधा गोपीनाथ राधे। जय जय प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद, जय जय प्रभुपाद। हरिनाम संकीर्तन की, श्री श्री राधा गोपीनाथ भगवान की, श्रील प्रभुपाद की, हिताय गौर प्रेमानंदे। हरे कृष्णा। कृपया शोर मत मचाइएगा, भगवत गीता के ऊपर प्रवचन रहेगा इंग्लिश में। So currently we are discussing from Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 3rd, chapter entitled Karma Yoga, and the shlok number is 40. I will just read the shloka followed by translation and the purport. Indriyani manobuddhir asyadhisthanamuchyate eter vimodo hatesha jnanamavritya dehinam. The senses, the mind and the intelligence are the sitting places of this lust. Through them lust covers the real knowledge of the living entity and bewilders him. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. The enemy has captured different strategic positions in the body of the conditioned soul. And therefore Lord Krishna is giving hints of those places so that one who wants to conquer the enemy may know where he can be found. Mind is the center of all the activities of the senses. And thus when we hear about sense objects, the mind generally becomes a reservoir of all ideas of sense gratification. And as a result, the mind and the senses become the repositories of lust. Next, the intelligence department becomes the capital of such lustful propensities. Intelligence is the immediate next door neighbor of the spirit soul. Lusty intelligence influences the spirit soul to acquire the false ego and identify itself with matter, and thus with the mind and senses. the spirit soul becomes addicted to enjoying the material senses and mistakes this as true happiness. This false identification of the spirit soul is very nicely explained in Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, 84th chapter, 13th verse. Yasyatma buddhi kunapetru dhatuke swadhi kalatri dishu bhauma ijjadi yattirtha buddhi salilena karhichit janeshu abhigneshu sa eva gokharaha. A human being who identifies this body made of three elements with his self, who considers the byproducts of the body to be his kinsmen, who considers the land of birth worshipable, and who goes to the place of pilgrimage simply to take a bath, rather than meet men of transcendental knowledge there, is to be considered like an ass or a cow. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Brinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim yat kripa tamaham vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Hare Krishna. It's a great honor to be sitting here and discussing from Srimad Bhagavad Gita. So my first question to all of you would be, how many of you regularly hear this Bhagavad Gita class on every Sunday here? Anyone here who regularly comes? One? Okay. Little girl also? Only few. So most of you are here for the first time, it seems. So I would like to discuss this beautiful verse from Srimad Bhagavad Gita. So Bhagavad Gita is a book of knowledge which has stood the test of time. So these words by Krishna are spoken around 5,000 years ago to Arjuna. And still, this book is so relevant to all of us. Generally, any book in this world loses relevance maybe in 150 years or 200 years. But this book is such an old book, but still it speaks, because it speaks about the universal truths, it is still making sense to all of us. And so most of the objection which comes in today's time is, this Bhagavad Gita we should read when we are old. बुढ़ापे में ये किताब पढ़नी चाहिए. We have heard this and we have said also many times. So this is the time for enjoyment. So basically Bhagavad Gita teaches us about how we should be living in this world. It is a training that is needed to every one of us. Now a question to all of you. Would you directly go to the corporate world and work before getting educated and trained? Is it possible? First we have to get trained. We have to go to school, we have to go to college, we have to do the internship, and then we will get the job. Then we will be able to work. But now we have lived all our life, and at the end, we should be discussing Bhagavad Gita. Does it make any sense? No, it doesn't. So this training has to be there in the beginning of our lives. Nonetheless, there is not a problem. Deraya durustaya. Even if we have started now, at the ripened age of life, no problem. It will benefit us. So this is a beautiful verse which Krishna is speaking here in Bhagavad Gita. So before I discuss on this matter, I would like to mention about the purpose of human form of life. We have got this human body which is so rare, right? Maybe we have done a lot of punya, pious activities, and as a result of that we have got this body, human body. So we are so different from animals. There are many common things also. Animals also eat, we also eat. They also sleep, we also sleep. They also procreate, we also procreate. They also defend themselves, we also defend ourselves. Ahara nidra bhay maithunam cha. Samanya etat pashubhir naranam. These are the 4 things which are common to both human beings and animals. But there is something which is unique about human beings. Would anyone like to share what is so special about the human beings? Is there anything special about human beings which is not there in animals? Creativity, discrimination power, refined intelligence, right? Now imagine a huge elephant, and on the huge elephant a small child is sitting with a small stick, and that small child is able to control the huge animal. So is the small child, able to control the elephant with his strength, bodily strength? No. There is something special about that child. He is using his intelligence to control the elephant. So human beings are given special refined intelligence, discrimination power, as Prabhuji has said, what is right, what is wrong, what is good, what is bad. So animals, they act by instinct. They don't think. They just act by instinct. But human beings, we can respond. We need not have to be reactive. We can respond to situations. We can use our intelligence. We can analyze the things. We can understand what is right, what is wrong, what is good, what is bad. And then we can take a decision. That is how the human form is very special. Right? And then what is the purpose of this human body? Then why we are given these special privileges which is not there in the animals? There is a huge responsibility that is given to us. And what is that? That is to attain perfection, to attain self-realization, to attain liberation from the miseries of this world. We are not meant to suffer miserably in this world. No, not at all. And for that reason, Gautam Buddha, who was, what was his name? Siddharth in his previous life. So Siddharth, he understood the futility of this material world. He was trying to analyze why people are dying, why people are getting diseased. Janma mrityu jara vyadi dukkha doshanu darshanam. So he was able to understand the actual situation of this world, and then he went out of his home. He started looking for solutions to these problems. Then he meditated, and then he got enlightened. Then he was able to understand the purpose of human form. So purpose of human form is self-realization. To understand who we are, who God is, what is my relationship with God, and what am I supposed to do in this world. Apart from working and earning some money for bread, butter, these things, roti, kapda and makan, as we say. So that is not the only person. That is even done by animals. Have you seen a bird creating nest on a tree? So even birds are able to make their homes. What is so special about us building such big skyscrapers? We are not meant for these things. These may be needed, but there is higher responsibility that lies on human form, on us, and that is self-realization. And what are the obstacles on the path of self-realization? That is what Krishna is mentioning in this 3.40th shloka. So as we know, all of us, when we get diseased, we go to the hospital to treat our body, to recover from our diseased condition. But then when there is a mental problem, mental health, problem with our mental health, so hardly do we have, any hospitals for that. But then we have a hospital for mind also. But what are the diseases of the mind? The scripture says there are 6 diseases of the mind. Anyone would like to share what are the 6 diseases of this mind? All of you heard this many times. Maybe you are not able to correlate. Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mad, Matsarya. Lust, anger, greed, illusion, pride, and then arrogance, and then envy. So these are the 6 diseases of the mind. And now Krishna here, he is discussing about only one disease, that is lust. And then he is also giving different strategies, different solutions, how to conquer this enemy. And Krishna is mentioning that these 6 are not only the diseases of the mind, but they are our eternal enemies. Now, we may have so many enemies in the form of some neighbors, some relatives, maybe our boss in the office, or anyone for that matter. But actually, the enemy is sitting inside us. Right? That is what Krishna is telling us here. We may try to find enemies outside, but then the greatest enemy is lying inside only. That is kama. That is lust. And Krishna is discussing about this. And this enemy is very formidable, very difficult to conquer. And these 6 diseases, they become obstacle on the path of our self-realization, which is the main objective of human form of life. Right? So definition of this lust is nicely mentioned in scriptures. Many of us, we just connect lust means, attraction between male and female. That is not the definition of the lust. Scriptures very graphically explain, very beautifully explain about this definition of kama. Kama means atmendriya priti vancha tare bole kam. When we try to strive for one's own enjoyment, that is called as kama. And opposite to kama is prema. Now this prema word is very important. It can be translated into love. Everyone in this world, they are hankering for 2 things. To love someone and to be loved by someone. These are the 2 basic hankerings every one of us has. And our whole struggle in this life is meant to satisfy these 2 things. Let someone love me, or at least I should love someone. Right? But what is prema? Is it possible for all of us to love every person in this world? Technically not possible, right? Crores of people are there in this world. But then the scriptures give a very easy solution. They say prema means Krishnendriya Priti Icha Tare Bole Prem. So when we try to satisfy the senses of the Supreme Lord, Krishna here, Krishna, Rama, different incarnations of Vishnu, then we also get satisfied. We also get happiness. So that is the solution which the scriptures give us. So when we want to nourish a tree, where do we water the tree? We water the roots of the tree, right? And only then the whole tree get nourishment. Similarly, when we perform seva, when we perform service to Krishna, then automatically we also get satisfaction and happiness. How many of you stand hours together in front of the mirror, try to decorate yourself? May not be men so much, but the other part, we spend hours, maybe few minutes, if not hours. So suppose you try to decorate the picture in the mirror. So your image is there in the mirror and you are trying to decorate your image in the mirror. So is it worthwhile doing that? It is foolishness, right? You have to decorate yourself, only then you will be able to see yourself in the image, in the mirror. So similarly, when we serve the Supreme Lord, right, automatically we also get nourishment and satisfaction. That is prema, kama and prema. So here, now it is said that this lust is a formidable enemy of a soul. So before we get into this discussion, scriptures mention that all of us, we have three bodies. Most of you are coming here for the first time. You might be shocked to hear all of us, we have three bodies. But I see only one body. Where are the other two? So scripture says we have three kinds of bodies, all of us. First is called as gross body, which is called as sthula sharir, which can be seen by the material eyes, which is made up of panch maha bhuta. What are they? Bhumir, apo, analo, vayu, kham. Air, ether, water, fire and earth. These are the five elements which our gross body is made. This is the first body. And the second body, which is not visible, but which can be felt. We can feel that. And that constitutes of three elements. They are man, buddhi and ahankar. Mind, intelligence and ego. This is our subtle body, which is called as sukshma sharir. So apart from these two, we also have a third body, which is spiritual in nature, which is made of Sachitananda. Right? This is how we are made up of these three bodies. At the end of our life, when we die, generally we burn the gross body. And all the elements, they get mixed into the respective elements. And we are left with two bodies. That is subtle body, and that is mind, intelligence and ego, and then our spiritual body, which is the soul, the real self. All right. So now Krishna is telling here, now scriptures are saying that we should conquer this enemy. We should defeat this enemy, which is lust, because it's an obstacle on the path of our spiritual life, on the path of self-realization. So now Krishna is recommending that we should conquer this, we should defeat this. But then before we even try to conquer the enemy, we should know where the enemy is situated. We should know the strategic positions where the enemy is there. Right? I remember the story from Ramayana. So Ramji, he tells Hanumanji to go and find out the location of Mother Sita. That is the instruction given to Hanumanji and the whole team members. And finally, Hanumanji was able to, cross over the ocean, and then he could able to go to Lanka. And he finally found out the location of Mother Sita. But then he also performed something beyond the instruction that is given to him. Not only did he locate the location of Mother Sita, but then he also burned the whole Lanka. But that was not told by Lord Ramchandra. But then he did that. And what was the idea behind doing that? So while burning, Jai Shri Radha Gopinath Bhagavan ki. So while trying to burn the whole of Lanka, Hanumanji was doing one thing. He was analyzing the whole Lanka. He was trying to find out what is the strategy of the enemy. Where do they have the camps? What are the different gates that they were having? So he was analyzing everything, because after going back, he would report this to Lord Ram. They have this camp on this eastern gate, they have this camp on the western gate, northern gate, whatever. And what kind of missiles do they have, what kind of commanders do they have. So while burning the Lanka, Hanumanji was trying to find out everything. That is the additional service which Hanumanji did. So before even to conquer the enemy, we should know the strategic positions of this enemy. So that is what Krishna is saying here. He is saying lust is situated in three places in our body. Three locations of this lust. What are they? Senses, mind and intelligence. So these are the three places where the lust is residing. Right. So now having said this, so not only lust is sitting in these three places, but it has totally captured the whole of our existence. Totally captured. Or you can also say hijacked. This is what Krishna is saying. And by doing this, what is happening? Our intelligence is getting covered. So Krishna is speaking about three things, that is senses, mind and intelligence. Now let us try to understand how does the mechanism of these three things. So what are the five senses that we have? Eyes is an organ. Sight, seeing is the sense, seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting and touching. These are the five senses. And then comes the mind. So how this mechanism works? So whatever we perceive in this world through these five senses, we see something, we hear something, we smell something, we taste something, and there is a message that goes inside. Suppose we have tasted our favorite dish. So, and that dish is nicely prepared, it is very tasty. So that information goes to the next level, that is mind. Then mind starts processing. And then intelligence is the one which provides the facilities for the mind to enjoy. Right? It is like the capital. It provides the capital resources. So this is how the three things, the mechanism of these three things happens. Senses, they perceive the world around, and then mind, then it starts processing whether I can enjoy this more, whether I should continue the enjoyment or not. Then the mind starts fantasizing about the enjoyment. And intelligence is the one which takes the decision whether I should enjoy this or not. Intelligence is called as Viveka Buddhi in Sanskrit. So there are two words, intellectual and intelligent. We must have heard about these two words. So intellectual is the ability to process the information of this world, trying to solve the different problems of this world. That is intellectual capacity. And what is intelligence? Intelligence is ability to discriminate whether it is right or wrong, whether it is good or bad. Right? Suppose a hypothetical example I would like to give. Now we have the intellectual class, suppose scientists, they are the intellectual class. Now someone is working in the lab for hours together and they want to take a break. And this particular scientist, he come out of the lab and then he smokes a cigarette. And then it is clearly written on the cigarette that, smoking is injurious to health. So now this scientist, he is intellectual person, he is able to solve the problems inside the lab, and he is reputed for his work. He was given awards for his work. But then when it comes to intelligence, he was not able to discriminate. He knows it is clearly written, but he was not able to discriminate. His discrimination power was weak. He was not able to decide whether I should go for this or not. He just, started smoking. So that is where the intelligence comes into picture. So Krishna is saying lust is situated on these three locations: senses, mind, and intelligence. Now, for example, this lust has not only conquered these three places, but it has actually hijacked everything. Now, to make you understand this particular thing, now so many wars are going on currently, right? Now, an aircraft is going into the war zone, and the fighter pilot is also sitting in the aircraft, and there is a fight that is happening, and this pilot in the aircraft, he is also connected to his tower where he is getting a lot of communications and signals from his people. Suppose Indian, communication channel. So he is getting all the directions, he is getting all the signals from his people, from Indian, tower. Now suppose the signal is lost. What will happen? He becomes confused. He is not able to decide what should be I doing. I am not able to see the whole picture here. I can only see up to some extent. So he is confused. That is okay. But if the situation becomes even worse, for example, the enemy has intercepted our signals and they have taken control of whole situation, and if they are giving us the false signals and they are taking us into a death trap, now imagine what is the situation of that pilot. So that is what lust is doing here. It has not only sitting in the 3 locations, but it has totally hijacked us. Another example to make you understand this situation. Suppose we have, how many of you use computers here? Now mobile is also mostly operating like a computer only today's time. Mobile also have an operating system, right? So now computers, suppose a virus enters our mobile or a computer. So then it tries to corrupt our system. That is what lust is doing. It enters us and then it tries to corrupt. Now here what is being corrupted? Our senses are getting corrupted, mind is getting corrupted, and intelligence is also getting corrupted. So not only corrupted, but the whole functionality of the computer or the mobile is completely changed now. It is not acting as per my will. Now someone has taken control over my mobile and he is withdrawing money also through my bank account, which is not, so many such things are happening in today's time. So that is what this is called as hijacking. Not only capturing but totally hijacking, controlling. You are not able to work as per your wish. Someone else is like a person getting haunted by a ghost. He is not able to understand what he is doing actually. So that is what is Krishna is telling here. So the enemy is setting in these 3 places, senses, mind and intelligence, and then it has totally hijacked our system. We are not able to discriminate only. So how can we understand these 3 things? Suppose there are so much of bombardment that is going on in today's time through social media, Instagram, YouTube videos, shorts, reels, so many things. And a lot of destructive things are also coming in front of us, which we are not supposed to see or hear. And that is also corrupting our senses, mind and intelligence. Right? At certain times, we are not even able to understand that whether what I am doing is right or wrong. So how many of you relate to this? We are totally hijacked. Although we have heard so many, good things, good lessons we have learned, we completely forget. So that is what is our situation. We are totally hijacked at that time. We are not able to understand what is good, what is bad, what is right and what is wrong. That is what Krishna is telling. Enemy is powerful. It has taken control of ourselves. Right? That is the situation we are landed up into. So when the senses are corrupted, what happens? We are not able to perceive things as they are. It is like a person is blindfolded and he is taken into a room. Can he able to see anything in the room? No, he was totally blindfolded. He will not be able to perceive things properly. So that is what happens at the level of senses. And how the mind is corrupted, that is the second level. Mind is corrupted. It starts fantasizing about enjoying in a wrong way by acting sinfully, right? And it starts imagining, I can enjoy this, I can enjoy that. And if the intelligence is corrupted, what will happen the next level? Instead of intelligence trying to control mind, intelligence also take part in this vicious conspiracy. Now intelligence, it supports the activities of the mind. Okay, you want to enjoy this? Let me try to figure out how you can enjoy this. Let me try to, go in such a place where no one is watching me so that I can do this wrong act. So scheming part, planning part is done by intelligence if the intelligence is corrupted. That is how lust can corrupt at 3 levels: senses, mind and intelligence. I hope you are all able to understand what I am trying to say. If yes, please say Hari Bol loudly. Hari Bol. Thank you. So that will also encourage me to continue. Okay, so we'll continue. This is how the lust has taken control of us. And this trap is deadly. In Bhagavatam, in another chapter of Bhagavad Gita, it is mentioned, Asha Pasha Shater Baddha. Our mind is filled with desires, unlimited, unfulfilled desires. Mind is a repository of 2 things. unfulfilled desires, and also impressions of previous experiences. Whatever good or bad experiences that we had previously, that impressions are stored in the memory of mind. How many of you have this experience that someone has done something wrong to you, you still remember that even after 10 years of life? Few hands are raised here. Many hands rather. भूल ही नहीं सकते हम उसको, बैठ गया हो. So where this information is stored, it is stored in the mind. That impression, whether it was good or bad impression, whatever. And mind is also a repository of unfulfilled desires. जो भी इच्छाएं हमारी पूरी नहीं हुई है, वो माइंड में स्थित है. They are still there, right? So this is how the mind acts. Unlimited desires, and it binds us into this material world tightly. The bondage is very tight, very strong. Asha, pasha, shater, baddha. Shater means hundreds of desires are there. Now you may have this question, but Prabhuji, I don't see any such, so many desires are there in my heart. But how does this desire comes out? One at a time, not all the desires come at once. They come one at a time. Whenever we get an opportune moment, the desire comes out. How many of you have the experience of seeing the ocean closely? Ocean को देखा है ना? यहाँ पे we have an ocean here, right? So in the ocean, sometimes we see one small fish coming out and then going inside. Have you seen this? It is not all the fishes are coming out at one time and going inside. It never happens. Sometimes one fish is coming here and another is coming on the other side. Similarly, our desires also, they come out in that fashion, one at a time. And what is the trigger for the desire to come out? Opportune moment to enjoy in this world. वो बाहर निकल जाता है desire, right? So this is what happens. And when our senses, mind and intelligence, they get captured, we start identifying ourselves with mind, intelligence and senses. That is the big problem. We start thinking that, I am this body, I am this mind, I am this intelligence. And that is where the whole problem begins. Now, I shared this example many times. We have 15 more minutes. So whenever we purchase, suppose we have purchased a new car or a new bike for that matter. So when the bike is new or when the car is new, every now and then we come out of our house and then we try to check whether the car is in proper condition or not. There is an anxiety, in the beginning days. If there is a scratch on the, car. So suppose someone has put a scratch on the car, what will happen? Who will get the pain? Owner ko dard hota hai. Isn't it? But the scratch is on the car. So why are you feeling unhappy about that? Why are you feeling miserable about that? Because we have started identifying ourselves with that car. I am that car. कार के साथ इतना अटैचमेंट हो जाता है कि we start feeling that identifying ourselves with the car. It's my property. It's me. So any small scratch on the car, it actually hurts us. So that is what happens when the enemy lust captures these three different locations. What happens? We try to identify ourselves with mind, with this body. That is where the problem begins. Right? One beautiful example from Ramayana again, how this whole mechanism has actually affected Ravana. You will be able to understand the whole situation. Now, there was a war, Shurpanaka, she tries to allure Ram and Lakshman when she comes to Dandakaranya forest. All of you know that story. I will not go into details of the story. And Lord Ramchandra fights with the 14,000 soldiers with Khar and Dushan. And Shurpanaka was insulted. Her nose and ears were cut. And she wanted to take revenge. And the whole army comes and Ramji defeats that. And only one person was surviving in that war. And his name was Akampan. Akampan means one who does not shake. But he was also shaking on that day. There was a lot of kampan that was happening. He was so frightened by seeing the courage and valor of Lord Ram. He went running to Lanka. And he reported everything to, Ravan that, Shurpanaka is insulted like this. You should take the revenge. But then Akampana also gives an idea to Ravana. The only way you can defeat Ram is by kidnapping his beautiful wife. So when you kidnap his wife Sita, Ram becomes very weak. And that is the right time we can actually defeat him. That is the only way we can defeat him. Otherwise, Ram is very powerful. And then all of you know how Ravana goes to meet his uncle, his mama, Marich. And he tells him that, you should help me in my plan to kidnap Sita. And you should become a golden deer. The whole plan is given to Marich. So when Marich hears that it is Ram's wife Sita who is supposed to be kidnapped by me, I have to take part in this whole conspiracy, then he becomes so frightened. Because he had a previous bad experience with Lord Ramchandra. Lord Ramchandra shoots an arrow to him and he falls 80 miles away. And he never forgets that. Still he is shaking. So whenever he hears this Shabda, Ra, he becomes fearful. What to speak of the whole name Ram. So Maricha then, gives good counsel to Ravana. Ravana, you already have so many beautiful wives. Give up this idea of kidnapping Sita. Be peaceful, live happily with your wives. Forget about Ram is very powerful, you cannot defeat him. So Ravana was convinced. He gave up the idea of kidnapping Sita. He went back to Lanka. He continued his other duties. But then when Shurpanaka came to know, my brother is doing nothing. So she comes running to Lanka. And she tells, what kind of brother are you? इतने बार मैंने राखी बांधा, क्या फायदा हुआ उसका? What kind of brother are you? You are not taking revenge upon this Ram and Lakshman. Do you know what they did with me? They cut my ears and nose. And then she actually changes the whole story. Now Shurpanaka gives the different version of the whole story. She says, Ravana, actually I went there to bring Sita for you. Actually she wanted to enjoy Ram and Lakshman, but she twisted the whole story and she said, actually Sita is very beautiful. And I went there to bring Sita for you, only for you. And these three words were emphasized by her. Only for you. And then when Ravana heard the beautiful description of the beauty of Mother Sita, he got captured. He got captured by what? The enemy that we are speaking about in this verse. Lust, kama. Again, if you have attended our second chapter, Gita, Krishna also gives the whole process of how we get affected by this lust. Dhyayato vishayan pumsam sangaste supajayate sangat sanjayate kama kamat krobdho vijayate. If there is a lust, unwanted desire in our heart, how does it come? It comes with meditation. When we start contemplating about the things. Now a gross example to make you understand this. Suppose a young boy sees a young girl in the street. Or it can be the other ways also. Young girl sees a boy. So now we cannot, walk on the roadside closing our eyes. Innocently we look. That is okay. But then when we try to meditate on that, after going home also we are meditating on that object of enjoyment. And that is where the whole problem begins. We become attached to that. We want to enjoy. The desire becomes more and more stronger. First is meditation, attachment, then it turns into kama. Kama is the third stage. Lust comes at the third level. Before that, we have already started meditating on that object. And then we become attached to the desire. And then the desire becomes so powerful that we want to enjoy now. How many of you have this experience कि आज मेरे को पिज़्ज़ा खाने का मन कर रहा है, भाई खाना है किसी भी हालत. Pizza is just an example. It can be any other food dish also. खाना है मतलब खाना है. The desire becomes so stronger, and that is what has happened with Ravana. The desire become more and more stronger. Why? When he heard the description of beauty of Mother Sita from Shurpanaka, and then his mind, senses and intelligence was totally captured by lust at 3 different locations. Now he was hijacked. Ravana was totally hijacked by this desire to enjoy Mother Sita. That is where the whole problem began. And who is this Shurpanaka in our life? Shurpanaka is nothing but our mobile phone, social media, Instagram, YouTube videos. So already there is a lust, but these mobile phones, they act as a trigger to bring that lust outside. As I said, fish, once in some time, the fish is coming out of the water. Similarly, for the lust to come out, what is needed? A trigger is needed. And these things are acting like a trigger. And they are actually capturing the three different locations, that is senses, mind, and intelligence. And that is our situation. We have become so vulnerable in today's time. Right? Every moment, every step, we are getting attacked. And that is how we are being captured and hijacked. And at that time, our intelligence doesn't work. प्रभु जी बहुत सुना लेकिन सब भूल गया मैं. उस टाइम पे कुछ याद नहीं आया. गलत कार्य कर बैठे हम. So lust is so powerful. Anichan api varshne. Arjuna says, my dear Krishna, what is that which is forcing me to act sinfully, even if I don't want it to? कभी कभी इच्छा नहीं होती. Anichan is the word used by Arjuna. इच्छा न करते हुए भी, I have been attacked by this lust. He doesn't say lust, but then he says, what is this? Then Krishna says, this is kama esha, krodha esha, rajo guna samudbhava. This is lust which is born of illusion, agyanta. So that is what Krishna is saying. This lust, it is not only capturing these three locations, but what it is doing, it is covering our knowledge. Avritta jnanam, that is the word being used. In the previous verse also Krishna uses the word avritta jnanam. Our intelligence is being covered. So what does it mean? We are not able to discriminate. जो अच्छी अच्छी बातें हमने सत्संग प्रोग्राम में सुनी है सब भूल गए. उस समय पे सब भूल गए. और we acted sinfully. And there is regret. Right? There is regret. There is a lot of pain. There is a lot of guilt which actually overcomes us. So what is the best way to conquer this lust? Scripture says that we should conquer this lust at any cost. But what is the method that is given in the scriptures? Of course, Krishna will be speaking about the solution in the next subsequent verses. But then I don't know how many of you will come next Sunday. So I have to give this solution also. We have just diagnosed the situation, what we are in. Now the solution is how to conquer this lust. So firstly, we have to make our intelligence stronger. Now currently the mind is stronger than the intelligence. Mind जो बोलता है वो करते हैं हम लोग. मन किया तो करेंगे. आज मन नहीं कर रहा है. ऐसे बहुत सारे शब्द हम लोग यूज करते हैं. हाँ. और इसके ऊपर so many Bollywood movies are there. दिल तो पागल है. So many movies on this particular concept of dil or man, whatever. So mind doesn't listen to us because our intelligence is weaker now. First we need to strengthen our intelligence. We should sharpen our intelligence, and that is possible by hearing wisdom talks from Bhagavad Gita, from Srimad Bhagavatam, regularly attending the satsang programs like this, and then getting this knowledge from the scriptures. Scriptural knowledge helps us to sharpen our intelligence. The analogy that is given in the scriptures of this mechanism is senses are like the 5 horses, body is like the chariot, rath, and mind is the rope, lagam, and intelligence is the driver. Now suppose if the driver is weak, the horses are pulling the driver instead of the driver pulling the horses. What will happen? The driver will fall down, the whole chariot will collapse in no time. So in order to pull that rope, that lagam strongly, the driver needs to be stronger than the horses. He should be powerful enough. Right? And how does this driver become stronger? Driver here is intelligence. The lagam, the rope is the mind, and the 5 horses, they are the senses. That is the analogy given in the scriptures. So first we have to focus on sharpening our intelligence, discrimination power, viveka buddhi, what is right, what is wrong, what is bad, what is good. That is mentioned in the scriptures. And second thing is, we should regularly come and take darshan of Krishna. If you see the beautiful form of Krishna, especially the eyebrows of Krishna, if you see the eyebrows of Krishna, it is like a bow, धनुष की तरह दिखता है. ध्यान दिया आपने? इस तरह से शेप में धनुष की तरह दिखेंगे, दो आंखें. So Bhagavatam verse says, when we take darshan of the beautiful eyes, the eyebrows of Krishna, it actually helps us to conquer lust. There is a personality who is the devata for kama also. उसको क्या बोलते हैं? Cupid. संस्कृत में क्या बोलते हैं हम? मदन. मदन के बारे में सुना होगा ना? Madan or Cupid. So Cupid is so powerful that he also carries a bow and arrow. And with that bow and arrow, he actually incites lust in us. That is the work of Cupid. Right? So when we take this beautiful darshan of Krishna's eyes, then this bow will help us to counteract the arrows of this lusty personified, the kama personified personality. Madan. So that is how the darshan of the Lord every day will help us to minimize the effects of lust, and by regularly reading of Bhagavad Gita, we can actually sharpen our intelligence. And most important, the Yuga Dharma of this age is chanting the names of the Lord. And what is the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. By chanting this mantra, we can control our senses and mind. When we chant the Hare Krishna mantra on beats, what happens? We are chanting with our tongue. It is one of our senses. So our sense of tongue is engaged in this positive activity of japa, mantra meditation. And when we chant the mantra, we should hear the mantra. So our sense of hearing is also engaged in this activity. And we rotate the beads, like we have the beads. So when we rotate the beads, our sense of touch is engaged in this activity of mantra meditation. So three senses are engaged in this beautiful activity. What are the two senses that are left? Smelling and what? Taste, right? No, what is left? Smelling and sight, sorry. So seeing and then smelling. So we should keep away from our kitchen and we should keep away from the toilet region so that they will not disturb us. When we see things, then the eyes are disturbed and mind is disturbed through the sense of sight, and the smelling is disturbed when we smell something, sugandh or durgandh, whatever. So in this way, we can engage all the five senses in this activity of mantra meditation. And by this, we can actually control the mind. And when these two things, along with the regular study of Bhagavad Gita is done, then we can control our intelligence also. We can sharpen and make stronger the intelligence also. That is how we can conquer lust, by performing bhakti, especially in this age, by chanting regularly the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna. So I will end this discussion on this particular shloka here. Anyone has any one question we will take? Otherwise, we can take after the class, after. Hare Krishna. The sign of intelligence is not just to clap, but to ask questions also. Right? There is a saying in English, those who are intelligent, they have a lot of doubts. They have a lot of questions to ask. I hope you might have understood everything, or you might have not understood anything at all. दोनों में से एक हो सकता है, if you are not asking questions then. So thank you all very much. We can now engage ourselves in Kirtan. Hare Krishna.